come in here, I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about me. I started my agency in 2003, and I kind of floundered around because I didn't have a proven sales system. I didn't have a niche. I didn't have a product line. I made all the mistakes. I made literally all of the mistakes. But I learned from them, thank goodness. And so I kept pushing forward, and come around 2008, we didn't wait. We got hit with the worst, financial recession since the Great Depression here in the U.S., all across the world. And that made me really look inward about, what did I want to get out of this and what did I want to accomplish with all this? And so I pivoted and I became a marketing agency, strictly a hardcore marketing agency, started developing out leadership, everything else. Jump ahead from that to early 2009 is actually when it all happened. Jump ahead. At that early 2009, I had hit, I think, about 420 to 440,000 in revenue, somewhere give or take right there. Jump ahead 3 years, and we were well over the $1 million mark. And then jump ahead 3 more years after that, and we had shattered multi-million dollar in revenue. And so I'm excited to share with you the sales system that we built through that. And of course, it's kind of got started there. I've taken it to much new heights per se since then. And so I'm excited to bring this to you today, and it looks like we've got everybody in here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me 2 seconds here. And while we're doing that, I am going to actually kind of turn off my video. All of us are going to turn off the video because we want everyone to focus on the presentation. But please, if you're out there, we are all about interaction. So please ask questions. Dan is monitoring those questions right now. Chat, throw them out into the chat. We love it. Do whatever you want to do, just make sure you get those questions out there. And I'm going to cut my video off when I get into the presentation. I'm also not going to be manning the QA and chat. Dan is in anything that he cannot address in real time, of which he will obviously do. Then I'm going to come back in. We saved about 10 minutes on the end of this thing to have plenty of time for questions and answers. All right, Ben, Charles, Kyle, Mark, Michael, Don, anybody out there, if you can hear me, make sure you raise your hand so I can see that the sound is good. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. All right, now I need a couple people just to throw in one question in the Q&A and one just chat. I don't care who you are, throw anything in there random. Where are you from? Give me your location. Everybody type in your location in the chat. Make sure chat's working. All right, Dan, is everything working on? Everything seems to be working on your end?
Yeah, we've got something in the chat.
Perfect. All right. Good deal. Kyle, thank you very much. Ben, thank you very much. Everybody is engaged. I like it. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to stop my video. I'm going to dive off into this presentation. And again, if anyone has any questions or chat or anything like that, throw it into the modules here. Dan is there, and we are going to address those questions. I will address those specifically right after I'm done with the presentation. All right. Okay. All right, everyone. First, thank you. Thank all of you for attending or registering or taking your time out of the day, whether to be registered to get the recording, which is kind of a popular thing nowadays, and we will be sending this recording out to everyone. So if you have to leave early, no, don't fret. We'll get it out to you. We want to make sure you get the knowledge. That's the most important thing. That is why Chris and Dan reached out to me, and I was honored when they did to bring this type of knowledge and this education to their clients to help them grow their businesses because, well, hey, a rising tide raises all boats, right? So if they can help you build your agency, which is why they have me here, then of course that would help their platform grow as well, right? So kind of obvious there, but they are doing this with true, like what I call servitude, giving type attitude. So again, if you gotta run, we understand that. Go take care of what you gotta take care of, and we will get the recording out to you. I want to thank again and welcome everyone to the 4 Pillars of a Successful Agency Sales System webinar. In this webinar, I'm going to discuss how and why, get my mic here, how and why a sales system is so critical to grow your agency. But I'm also going to show you the when, the what, the where, and how to build one for your agency. Everyone talks about that you have to have a predictable and reliable sales system that generate leads, closes deals, and does not, this is the big one here, does not require everything to be tethered to agency leadership. So if you're an owner out there and you're frustrated with, oh my gosh, why do I have to do all the sales? Or even if you have a sales rep, they always have to bring you in. make sure you stay tuned to this one, because this one is going to show you exactly how to get that sales system in place that does not require everything to be tethered to owners or leadership. Now, everyone tells you to get this in place, but no one seems to have it in place. So before we address why the majority agencies do not have a system like this, let me explain why a sales system like this is so critical if you want to grow, scale, or possibly sell your agency down the road. So why is a sales system so important? Ultimately, it boils down to a very simple math formula. And if you adopt this formula for your agency, it will literally change your business. Honestly, it changed my life. It'll change your business's ability to harvest leads, nurture those leads, and most importantly, close high-ticket projects consistently without having to spend thousands of dollars to get those projects in the door. So if you're spending money on media buying, pay close attention to this formula right here, because this formula right here, what's called the lead harvesting formula, is a formula that was taught to me by J. Conrad Levinson. And for those of you out there who are not familiar with who J. Conrad Levinson is, let me give you a quick little overview. J. Conrad Levinson worked at the Leo Burnett agency. He is the one. He's the one literally that the Mad Men show was kind of based loosely off of. The Leo Burnett agency, and J. Conrad Levinson was the star at Leo Burnett. He created brands like the Marlboro Man, Jolly Green Giant, Starfish Tuna, Tony the Tiger, Allstate Good Hands, Playboy Bunny. And the list goes on and on and on. As a result of the successes that he achieved while at Leo Burnett, he was asked to do a kind of a professor role at Berkeley. And in his class in Berkeley in the early 80s, he had Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Michael Dell. Can you imagine having those three people in your class? I mean, like, wow. Did those three guys ever go on to change the world or what? So J. Conrad Levinson taught me this. He learned this while consulting Fortune 500 companies. And what they do is they learn that you can't just go after hot leads. In other words, you can't just go after the people who are going to try to, pay you money within the next 30 to 60 days. And I hear this all the time in my coaching, my coaching students, coaching classes, things like that. I just want the hot leads. I don't want to waste my time. I can't deal with tire kickers. I'm too busy. And my response to that is, duh. I mean, like, obviously, nobody ever wants to talk to tire kickers, right? I mean, duh, right? But that doesn't mean you need to ignore them, okay? And I'm going to show you what all this means. So this lead harvesting formula is 4%, 4%, and 92%. So let me explain what this means. The first 4%, these are what's called buying units. The majority of agency owners will focus on this 4%. And I constantly hear it all the time. I only want to talk to hot leads who are ready to purchase. I don't want to deal with tire kickers. And again, the obvious answer to that is, duh. We all want this. I mean, who would not want to wake up in the morning and have 5 sales calls set up for them with people who are ready to write checks? I mean, like, duh, that makes perfect sense to me, right? Now, the second 4%, they're in what's called the in-depth research phase. This phase is when prospects are actually beginning to narrow down the vendors, like down to a final 3, and to get proposals from and actually begin the process of making a final decision. So this is the phase where they're really kind of narrowing it down. They've investigated, they've got 4, 5, 6 vendors. They're narrowing it down to the top 3 where they can do a real big deep dive. But the project is probably not going to get started for, I'd say, 90 to 103 to 6 months, 90 to 180 days. And a lot of times, you'll never even know that this phase is happening until it's too late, meaning you'll never be invited to the party unless you're focusing on the 92%. And that's right. This is the tire kicking phase. And every successful organization I have ever seen focuses the overwhelming majority of their lead harvesting efforts on this phase. And I know a lot of you out there are like, what? How can they afford to do that? This is how. You see, a few things happen when people are just kicking tires. They let their guards down and they don't mind giving you their name and email. But they almost assuredly will never give you their phone number because they know they don't want to waste their time, and they also are respectful of your time. They don't want to waste your time. So therefore, they will stop at giving you the phone number. Let me give you a real world example. Newlywed couples. Let's say you found the one for you, you got married, you both agree, kids are in the picture. I mean, kids are in the future, but they're not in the picture right now. You both want to get your career started, have fun, travel, and enjoy life before you settle down with kids. Now, that does not stop you from researching potential baby names, clothes, paint colors for the rooms, any number of things that pops into your head while surfing one evening and bored. You see, you're just surfing without a care in the world. You know you're not going to buy anything, so you freely give up your name and email because there's no real threat. Let me give you another example. That new Tesla, Jeep, dream car, whatever it might be, we've all dreamed of that dream car, whether it's a Tesla, a new Jeep, or the next supercar. We've all dreamed of owning a beautiful and exciting new car of your dreams. In fact, I'd be willing to bet a lot of you in this call right now have actually begun to visualize this dream by going to their website and custom building your very own Tesla Roadster that does over 250 miles per hour and 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, which is an unbelievable car. When we do these tire kicking activities, we're leaving a digital trail. Whether it be a Facebook pixel, opt in to get vehicle specs, opt in to receive the top 10 baby names to avoid in 2020, like Karen. We all love to kick tires on items we hope to have down the road. You see, when people are in the tire kicking phase, they are freely giving up their contact information. And if you're smart, you will use this to build up your very own marketing database of future buyers. This is where my agency sales system separates itself from all other sales systems that you have ever heard of. My system focuses on harvesting that 92%, understanding that it is easier to get them into your multi-touch marketing machine and nurture them to remain top of mind until they graduate to one of the top 4% phases, meaning the in-depth research phase, or even better, the buying unit phase. To get their contact information during the 92% phase is so much easier than when they have their guard up. It costs pennies to remain top of mind. So if you spend your time focusing on the 92%, you will build up a massive database of prospects for literally pennies a record, and you can leverage that to drive revenue, very similar to just turning on a faucet. You do not lose any of the front 4% or the second 4%. Those will still seek you out and engage with you if they find you at the exact time that they are narrowing down the field for proposals. This is a very risky gamble and not something you can build a scalable agency around. You see, there's something magical that happens when you focus on that 92%. By default, you get the attention of a lot more people who are already in the 4%. So it actually increases the amount of hot buyers you're talking to on a daily basis, as well as building out your highly targeted database for future sales. You see, when you focus on that 92%, you allow automated prospect nurturing to do its job. You build your database over time, and then you remain top of mind in your prospects' long-term memory. And when it comes time for them to look up and to the left, which is what we do when we're calling from trusted resources, that's what's called your long-term memory, your agency name will pop into their heads and you will receive an RFP for a large project or contract. We all do it. There's actually a physical mechanism in our brain that after we have seen something, the common number is between 7 to 9 times. The reality is how much emotion is behind that interaction. So if you have a car accident, it only takes once. If you get married, it only takes once. If you have a baby, it only takes once. If you're in marketing, you don't want to have that much emotion because it could potentially be negative and be detrimental. So in marketing, you do what's called low trust engagement touches. So therefore, you're just providing value, you're remaining top of mind, and all of a sudden, you're imprinting. We've all, I'm sure, if you're in marketing for any period of time, you know what imprinting means. And when you imprint enough times, what happens is the brain will physically transition that out of short term, which gets cleaned out every night, and goes into long term. And so therefore, when they do go to actually look up, okay, and to the left and come out looking for a vendor, their brain is going to automatically trigger it to put in your brand, and they're going to go into their emails. They're going to type up a name, an image, or whatever it might be, and they're going to find you in their email box, and they're going to respond to an email. And it happens all of the time. Focusing on the 92% allows you to do what Fortune 500 companies have done for hundreds of years. You can put in a system that ensures your brand will remain top of mind in your prospect's mind until they are ready to make a purchase. That's the key right there, when they are ready to make a purchase. When you combine prospect nurturing with powerful prospect vetting tools, you now have the ability to harvest a database full of future projects. And the amazing thing is that you only have to spend your precious time with real buyers, not tire kickers. Again, just because you're harvesting the 92% does not mean that you have to spend any time on them. A lot of people think that if you focus on harvesting as many contact records in your target audience as possible, it's going to waste a ton of your time. And I'm telling you, it is not. It's exactly opposite of that. You see, the 92%, they don't want to talk to you either. Let's remember that fundamental thing here. They don't want to talk to you either. So if you put in simple prospect vetting processes, of which I'm going to show you in today's call, you can easily separate the tire kickers from the hot buying unit. Okay, that's a lot. So let me get into exactly how my system does this so efficiently and so effectively. Well, 4 pillars of a successful agency system. Let's list those 4 pillars and then do a little bit of deeper dive into those as we go through the presentation. Pillar number 1, lead magnets. Not just lead magnets, but lead magnet diversification. You see, by diversifying your lead magnets based upon their pain points, you can double and triple the leads you're getting out of your already existing traffic. I'm going to repeat that because I want that to be one of the big takeaways. If on your website, all you have is a free consult, schedule consult, contact us, something like that, then you're literally leaving 75 to 80% of all of your leads on the table. The simple act of diversifying your lead magnets will double and sometimes triple your lead flow overnight. And I'm going to get into this in more detail as we go through the 4 pillars. Pillar number 2, lead harvesting plus a call to action management system. Again, the majority of you are leaving that 92% of all prospects on the table. You're not engaging with them. You do not nurture them, and you're not going to get any business out of them. Now, imagine, let's say you have a number in your head. You get 4 leads a month, 50 leads a month. Get that number in your head. Now I want you to multiply that number times 12. That's for a year. And then I want you to multiply that number times 2, 3, or 4. And that's how many prospects you would have in your CRM right now. Let's use 10 for easy math. 120 times 4, 480. You would have 480 hot leads in your database quickly. Now let's do it a little bit higher. Imagine if you're ever putting in 40 contact records a month. And by the way, this is a very low number when you're focusing on that 92%. That might sound like a big number whenever you're only focusing on the buying units, and that is a big number if you're only focusing on the buying units. But remember, buying units only make up 4%. So that 92%, getting 40 a month is very easy. That's not hard at all. Let's do the math on that. 40 times 12, 480. 480 times 4, 1,920 highly targeted contact records in your database that you can run holiday specials to, end of the year price hike campaigns, and of course, now you can upload them to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and other platforms for unbelievably cheap retargeting traffic. The possibilities are endless when you focus on building your marketing database out of that 92% instead of focusing on people who are ready to buy right now. Pillar number 3, automation and pipeline management. This is so powerful in so many ways, but the superpower of CRM automation and pipeline management is to ensure that you never let another valuable lead fall through the cracks. In industry terms, we call this follow-up failure. And every successful agency I've ever known understood the importance of nurturing every single lead, no matter how big, how small, or where they are in their buying cycle, their buying process. Pillar number 4, real-time KPI dashboard. This is a game changer. Real-time KPIs were simply not even possible, literally not even physically possible. You could not have done this 3, 4, 5 years ago. And until then, before real-time KPI dashboard, it took a team, and I mean a team of people. This is why small businesses could never do what big businesses were doing, and this is why big businesses had that unfair competitive advantage, is because they had transparency into their numbers. They know what lead sources are working. They know what lead magnets are leading to profit. They know what follow-up systems are nurturing and getting those 4% to bubble up sooner. They have that data. They know how long it's taking to move someone from one sales pipeline to the next pipeline. And if they see that from stage 2 to 3 is taking way too long, they can put in measures to shorten that. So having a real-time KPI dashboard is an absolute game changer. Okay. Now, these 4 pillars are similar to the 4 pillars of brand creation. I'm sure hopefully a lot of you out there are very familiar with that. Pillars are the huge beams that hold everything up, like you see on the screen here. And that is exactly what we mean here. Each pillar holds up a critical aspect of the sales system. And if one of the pillars fails, all of the pillars will fail along with it. Each pillar is responsible for holding up their end of the weight. Each pillar will have different things relying on its strength to hold them up as they provide shelter and security under its strength. I put this in here because, as with all successful businesses, it's about the entire system. If you're attempting to pull one piece out of my webinar today and then go combine it with someone else's webinar, or pull one piece out of a Facebook group and then combine it with something else that you heard from someone else, wherever it came from. In other words, if you're attempting to piecemeal this together, I can almost guarantee you it's not going to work. All systems are only as strong as its weakest link. So make sure when you're learning from someone, if you're looking to get a sales system put in place, do yourself a favor. Do not pull one piece from over here, one piece from over here, one piece from over here. It is the cohesive nature of a system and its weakest links that's going to make it successful or not. Very important, very important. So when I'm talking about this system, it's actually what's called a closed-the-loop system. So what is a closed-the-loop agency sales system? Before I dive into how my agency sales system is so effective and simple to use, I want to give you a quick definition of what a closed-the-loop sales system is and why all investors considering this, in other words, if you're hoping to sell your agency down the road and you're hoping to get that 2, 3, 4, 5, 10x, I promise you at the top of the list, your investors are going to ask you about your sales systems, and you must have an effective sales system, including lead sources and follow-up processes and training manuals before they'll entertain buying a business in most cases. Okay, that's not an ironclad rule there, but in most cases. So what is a closed-the-loop sales system? Okay, marketing and advertising. It generates awareness, interest, and leads. Sales takes over those leads and manage the relationship until they close, into a one deal or deemed to be lost. We all understand that marketing and advertising will again generate the interest and start to follow up with them. That's the automation piece of the follow-up. And then, of course, sales is going to establish that personal relationship and actually get into the consultative type sale. Okay, a system like this does not take out the consultative type sale. It just makes sure you're on the phone with the right people at the right time. Okay, so whenever you have marketing and advertising generating awareness, interest, and leads, sales takes those leads over. What happens is this. See, the problem happens when we attempt to centralize the data between marketing and sales. Historically, meaning we're trying to take all the data we got from marketing and to marry it up with all the stuff we got in the sales process. But the problem is there's always been a gap, a massive gap between the two departments. Okay, and in the smaller agencies, who are we kidding? This is all the same department, but this still holds true. So if marketing drove a ton of leads and spent $10,000 to get those leads, but when those leads were handed over to sales, not a single one of them purchased, do you think that might be valuable information to have? I mean, why would marketing not run that campaign again? They think they just hit the jackpot. They think they just drove 10,000 leads in there and they're about to have a massive spike in business. But without a close the loop system, meaning you associate all revenue back to all lead sources, then you would never know this and you would waste hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost profit and opportunities simply because you could not close the loop between sales and marketing. Okay, so everybody knows what those 4 pillars are. Everybody knows what a closed loop system is. So why in the hell is it that why is it that no one has one? Nobody has one. If you've got one out there, raise your hand. Throw something in chat. I'd love to hear it. I want to see out there how many people out there actually have one of these. I mean, it shows you where your profit comes from with zero guesswork. It guarantees to eliminate follow-up failure, and it's going to vet out the tire kickers from the serious buyers. Why don't all small businesses have this type of close-the-loop sales and marketing management system in place? Well, there are 2 primary reasons small businesses do not have a system like this. In the past, the only way to get the kind of data we can get in real time now would have required an entire staff, kind of like what I was talking about a while ago. They had to create spreadsheets, then present it to leadership. They got to reconcile it. Literally entire departments of very smart people did nothing but this all day long. Obviously, that's not something small businesses can afford. And even up until the last few years, the cost to get a CRM that would allow you to do this was prohibitive. But now it's not. The cost to get a real-time KPI dashboard is like $50 a month. It's nothing. To get an unbelievably powerful CRM, I don't know, it's going to get you between $150 to about $1,000 a month. The ones I recommend are typically around $300 a month, and it'll do everything and more of what you need to run your agency. So that's problem number 1 is price tag. That problem is no longer. It doesn't exist. Technology, as you can tell from my comments on the previous slide, this was primarily a manual process until a few years, but with the rollout of cloud-based CRMs about 15 years ago, and now they have advanced far enough that small businesses can legitimately set up, manage, and profit from the same types of powerful marketing systems that until a few years ago were only reserved for Fortune 500 big businesses, not small businesses. The technology has finally gotten to the point that everyone can and should have the power of a true close-the-loop sales and marketing system. Now that this option is available to small businesses, meaning it's affordable, it's easy to set up, it's easy to manage, and it's all done by utilizing cloud-based technologies, let's do a little bit deeper dive into each one of those 4 pillars, okay? Pillar number 1, here are the top 5 things you need to know when it comes to generating lead magnets that convert. Bring the pain. Remind your prospects of why they are there. And if you focus your lead magnets around the pain points that your target audience is experiencing at the time they are interfacing with your, let me get that back over there. At the time they're interfacing with your digital assets, you will convert substantially more than the already existing traffic, out of the already existing traffic you already currently get. The biggest mistake people make is they make their lead magnets around features and benefits. Do not make this mistake, okay? Here's a simple formula right here on the screen, okay? Bring the pain, precise, and time-bound. We use this in what's called our lead magnet worksheet. We actually, this agency sales system, we have a done-for-you service. So in that done-for-you service, we have what's called a lead magnet worksheet. And in that worksheet, we're working with my students to basically get everything set up. We use this formula right here. And we also have a workshop that we do as well, and we work on with getting all these 4 pillars and everything done. So this formula here, bring the pain. My SEO rankings suck. My website doesn't convert. Precise. 5 things to increase website conversions. Time-bound. This week. My website sucks. 5 things you can do this week to increase conversions on your website. Very simple, very, very simple. But this simple formula allows you to create lead magnets, and it allows you to do it quickly. This is actually a big, big part of it. Regardless of how good you are, the reality is that the market's going to dictate what your lead magnets will end up looking like and being. So do not get caught up in trying to make your lead magnets perfect or even close to perfect at first. It's more important to create a lot of lead magnets, test them out, let the market determine the winner, and then repeat the process until you have 5 to 7 highly converting lead magnets deployed throughout your websites. We have dozens of tools we use to make lead magnets super fast, and they look amazing. To be able to create lead magnets very quickly, you have to have a proven process that guarantees you can produce lead magnets quickly without anything falling through the cracks. That is why we use our lead magnet worksheet to ensure that every lead magnet focuses on the buyer personas, pain points, and of course, vetting questions to make sure everything is dialed in before we test it on the marketplace. Now, I know a lot of you like to spend time making your lead magnets as close to perfect as possible. And if you already know exactly what your target audience will respond to, then I agree. Take the time to make it perfect. But this is a very, very, very rare case. A lot of agencies think they know what their target audience wants. But the reality is the markets constantly change. Buying habits change as a result of global pandemics. And it is always a great idea to test your lead magnets with your target audience to improve conversions. At first, you should simply create as many lead magnets as possible. Put them on their website. Put them on your website. Run ads to them and let the market dictate the exact language your audience will respond to by the actions that they take. There are dozens of lead magnet creation platforms out there right now that make this process super simple and so efficient. Visme, Canva, Typeform, Facebook group, LinkedIn groups. You must have a lead magnet creation process that ensures nothing is missed. You must have what's called a down opt-in, okay, which is a very big deal. You must have the ability to create converting lead magnets very quickly and throw them out there up on your website very quickly. That's why the call to action management system is so important in Pillar 2, and I will get into that here shortly. Number 5 on the Pillar number 1, lead magnets. Lead magnet diversification. You see, when prospects visit your digital assets like your website, they're visiting for different pain points. For example, if you're not feeling well or you have a pain point, you will first ask your friends and family, then go do some research. And if that does not get rid of or solve the pain point, then you will schedule time to go see the doctor, but only after you have done your tire-kicking research. Now, when you go to the doctor, you go with a specific pain. You don't go there, you go there with a specific ailment. And you typically have very specific questions to ask the doctor. This exact same process applies to how your prospects will interface with your agency. They will do their research. But if they can't fix it on their own and their pain is high enough, they will reach out to request to talk to someone that is an expert to fix this. And most of the time, they will have very specific questions around their pain points. Now, they don't have a clue how to solve the pain, but they have questions, and that ultimately is all you're trying to do in them opting into the lead magnet, is to get them on the phone to answer some questions. That opens up the building rapport phase. So those are the 5 steps in the five bullet points you need to remember out of Pillar number 1. And now Pillar number 2 is called lead harvesting and call to action management system. There's 6 things you need to know about lead harvesting and a call to action management systems. And today, you need to know this today, and those are: you must get a call to action management system in place as soon as possible. I have fallen in love with my CTA management system. I use Thrive Leads, absolute total game changer. I can create templates. I can deploy them in 15 seconds or less to precise pages or pieces of content or within specific paragraphs. I can do it on exit intent. I can literally do it any form or fashion, however I want to do it. All marketers understand the value of testing. This is absolutely true in this case. You must hyper-focus your lead magnets to the precise piece of content you think will increase conversions. Let me give you a couple of quick examples of how powerful and easy this can be. I think most of you have seen this option in WordPress. You can select a page or post you want specific content to be deployed on. This also holds true in Thrive Leads. And by the way, you don't have to use Thrive Leads. They got, Beaver Builder, Elementor, Divi. There's a lot of them out there that can do this. It's a very common functionality. But when you combine it with the ability to deliver to do over 10 different types of lead magnets, and you can determine down to the specific paragraph, as you see on the screen right here. It's a total game changer as it pertains to delivering your lead magnets and harvesting more leads. So now you have a system that you got diversified lead magnets. You can put those lead magnets anywhere on your site quickly, and I mean in a matter of seconds and minutes in most cases. So when you're delivering that content based upon the pain point that they're experiencing at the time that they're reading something about that pain point, it is not rocket science to see how that's going to increase your conversions. And of course, you have split testing at your fingertips. This used to be a pain in the butt to do this a long time ago. Now it's literally a click of a mouse and you're running a split test. No more setting up UTM parameters or experiments in Google's. It takes a grand total of 30 seconds to set up a split test on all lead magnets and call to actions with an agile CTA management system like the one we use in our agency sales system and the one that I recommend everyone to do. Prospect vetting. Now this is number 6 and pillar number 2. Now that you're harvesting a lot more leads, you must have a way to vet the tire kickers out from the serious buyers. We have an unbelievably simple but unbelievably effective way of ensuring you only spend your time with hot buyers. We call it our thank you vetting form. Very simple. We bounce them to a quiz type format that will ask some simple questions. Okay, so as you can see on the screen here, it says your guide is on the way. We'll typically customize that to where it says, great, our automation ninjas are working for you. It typically takes about 60 seconds. By the way, that's just enough time to answer these 4 or 5 questions here. And so that's what they do. They'll go through and they'll answer the questions. At the end of those questions, we will ask them for their phone number. This is what you see in the bottom right-hand corner there. If they provide the phone number, we know that they are hot, and the system will automatically create a deal in your sales pipeline management system. It's going to notify you, and it's also going to kick off an automated email to provide instant value to your prospects. So if they come in and get the lead magnet, answer the questions, but do not give us the phone number, we know that they're a tire kicker. If they do give us the phone number, then we know that they fall in one of the top 4%. So it's a game changer when you have very simple prospect vetting in there. Now you're only spending time with people who are really serious about hiring your agency and getting a project started. But you did not lose the actual data. So now you still have the name and email of the tire kicker that you can nurture to and remain top of mind over time, and they'll come back and they will raise their hand down the road. That wraps up pillar number 2. Now, pillar number 3 is the automation and pipeline management. Automation is the superhero, and it is absolute the superhero of the system, and it will guarantee to eliminate follow-up failure. But we all know that larger projects require the personal touch. You are not going to sell larger projects via automation or a automated funnel. It's not going to happen. I don't care what the other gurus say out there. It's not going to happen. This is one of the reasons my system is also so effective. It recognizes when someone is hot and ensures you are notified on when to begin the rapport or relationship building phase of the sales cycle. Let me give you a few examples of how we handle the long-term nurturing without it consuming all of your time. These are the automation campaigns that just kind of remain top of mind. This is what's called our 1,000 level lead harvesting campaign. This campaign is much more complex than you might think. Well, it's pretty simple there. You see in this campaign, you apply the lead source tracking. That's up in the top left after the start button. You deliver the lead magnet, attempt to schedule an appointment aggressively for the first 5 to 7 days. And then from there, you remove tag and apply the next tag to kick them into what's called the 30 to 45 day nurture campaign. This campaign sets everything up perfectly for you to have the best shot at scoring an appointment with hot buying units. And if that does not work, then the system backs off and begins the educational phase. It also sets up all the lead source tracking, prospect identifying data, and knows when to transition to the next step in the system. And that next step in the system is the 2,000 level campaigns. So the system, after the first 7 days and is trying to schedule a meeting, it recognizes, hey, you know what? They didn't schedule anything, so let's back off. They're not really interested. This is when we drop them into the 30 to 45 day nurture campaign. This campaign is the education and trust building phase of the buy cycle. We're going to provide them with company history, departments, skills, awards, testimonials, any number of things. A lot of people do like educational training videos. So they'll do a 7-part training video on how to properly promote electricians or anything along those lines. This campaign is also smart enough and knows if someone has been through it before. So therefore, if someone gets a lead magnet, we remove the tag and they come back and get the lead magnet again, they will get that. But if they've been through this, then it'll bypass this and skip them straight into the long-term nurturing campaign. So after our system has given it all it can to get that appointment scheduled, it's going to know to back off after about a month or two. That is when we put them into either a monthly newsletter campaign, which is actually what I typically recommend, or we can put them into our what's called funny holiday campaign, which is wonderful for remaining top of mind. Forget about doing Easter, forget about doing Thanksgiving. You'll fall into the other 400 emails that are sent out on that day. Now, what about Happy Pi Day, March 14th? Or maybe May the 4th be with you day. We have over 70 of these engaging emails already written, and these are a wonderful and fun way to keep your brand top of mind without having to produce a monthly newsletter. Again, a monthly newsletter is always going to be a better converting tool for long term, though. Now, if at any point during this process, if they raise their hand or take certain actions, it's going to create an opportunity for you to begin the personal touch or the rapport building phase. Okay, so as you can see on the bottom right-hand corner here, it has the automation in there, and it's waiting for them to take specific actions. If it does, then it'll notify you. Okay, all of this, the entire system is done via automation. You don't have to spend 1 second on any of this until they have proven that they're actually a hot lead and it merits you spending your time with them. All right, pillar number 4, real-time KPIs and pipeline management. Let me show you the power of real-time KPIs. In the next few slides, I'm going to show you 4 out of 154 reports you can use with my system. 154 out-of-the-box reports. I'm only going to show you 4 of them. First is our opportunity pipeline. This graph is on your KPI dashboard, and you can manage all opportunities from the KPI dashboard, saving you a ton of time and keeping everything at your fingertips. Second is leads per day. Every single day, I want to know how many leads came in, where they came from, and for example, lead sources. This is the third one. This one is from Google Maps. When I first started my coaching business, I hired someone. They sat there for 90 days, and they scoured the web on Google Maps for agencies. Okay, and he did an outbound call campaign, and everybody that gave us permission, we put into our systems. Over the next 2 to 2.5 years, and this is actually an old snapshot, it's closer to about 40,000 now, but that single lead source from 2.5 years ago has generated almost $40,000 over the past, like I said, 2.5 years. And I know that because of the way the system works, and it is tracking the lead source all the way down to the initial point of contact. Gross revenue. This is obviously a very important one. A lot of people wish they had this at a glance. This is top performing lead sources. I like to know where my leads are coming from. You see, we set it up so you don't have to worry about lead source tracking. As long as you apply the right tag, and that literally is it. All you got to do is apply the right tag, and 99% of the time, the system will even do that for you. The system will automatically set up all of these reports and over 154 total reports at your fingertips. Here's a snapshot of my personal real-time KPI. This is the actual KPI dashboard that I use to manage my coaching business. Literally, in like this is it's pretty recent. I think it's August, late August is the last one I pulled the screenshot. So this is a snapshot of my dashboard. As you can see, when you combine all this data into one real-time KPI dashboard, the insight it provides your agency is an absolute game changer. Game changer for all agency owners who implement and use this type of system. The best part about the real-time KPI dashboard is that all of the data is harvested, tracked, and presented for you automatically. There's only one thing that you have to do to ensure KPIs remain up to date and accurate. As long as you track your revenue through the CRM system, it will take care of everything else. And before everyone cringes at having to change their accounting platform, we thought about that as well. You see, the majority of CRMs now, you can easily add manual adjustments, process checks, or even better, simply run credit card transactions through your CRM. But if you do not want to run your transactions via credit card through your CRM, and that's perfectly fine, all you have to do is spend about 15 minutes a month. Not even that in most cases, 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes a month. But again, most of the time it's even less than that. So if you have about 50 to 100 transactions a month, then it will take you about 15 minutes to go in there and manually put that in there. And it will automatically populate all of this information for 15 minutes a month. And again, that's only if you don't want to take credit cards via your CRM. Okay. Now, out of all of that, typically what people are asking by now, I've shown you exactly how you can build it out, fully automated systems. It eliminates follow-up failure, saves you a ton of time, and provides you 100% transparency. And at this point, a lot of you are asking yourself, this sounds like a lot of work. And even if I had the time, where do I get started? Well, where you get started is in my actual, I have a 4-day agency sales workshop. I'm going to put that into, let me see here. Give me a second. I'm going to drop that into the chat module. I just dropped the link to the workshop in the chat module. So with this in mind, most people are like, oh my gosh, this system sounds amazing. I do not have the time. I don't even know where to begin. What the hell? I want it, but how do I do it? Well, we created one. We have a done for you. Okay, so if you don't even want to go deal with a workshop, reach out to me. We have a done for you service. We can literally in about 30 to 45 days have all the lead magnets done, all the emails written, everything up and going, and you're trained. But if you would prefer to just learn to do it yourself, I have a 4-day workshop. In this workshop, we focus on one pillar each day. Okay, so let me show you what you get, what you will get with this workshop. By the time you're done with the workshop, you should have a fully functional agency sales and marketing system. Okay, so on day 1, we focus on lead magnets, as you can imagine. So we create the lead magnets. I'll show you 7 different tools we use to create and deploy lead magnets fast. We have thousands of templates you can select from. We'll walk you through the process of how to create a world-class lead magnet. We'll help you write the copy with our amazing lead magnet creation checklist. We have our worksheet. This worksheet walks you through the process of creating world-class lead magnets. You're also going to get full access to my lead harvesting course, of which goes into much more detail on the 4%, 92% lead harvesting formula. Okay, now this is critical that you understand this. And so this got a little bit of pre-work. You got to get out there and you got to do the lead harvesting course before you come into the workshop. Therefore, will get the most out of it. Okay. All right. After we're doing that, we're going to base these lead magnets on the top 5 pain points from your target audience that they feel in their day-to-day lives. This is how we're going to literally double, almost triple your leads in a matter of a week or 2 when you get it on your website. These lead magnets will be used on your website, conferences, bonuses for joining groups, freemiums. I mean, anywhere you can think of, you can use these lead magnets. That's day 1. Day 2, okay, is that we're going to work on the lead harvesting and the CTA management system. Lead harvesting mini intro campaign. That's that 1,000 level campaign. We give you the mind maps. We give you the email copy. We show you exactly how to do it. We walk you through the entire process. The 8% vetting campaign. This is going to be that prospect. This is that prospect vetting process that I talk about, to where you have these 5 questions, the phone numbers, and only if they take the proper steps do they actually pop up and bubble up to being a actual deal, like a hot buying unit. Monthly template reminder campaigns. This is that funny holiday or newsletter type campaign that we can get in there for you, and it is absolutely wonderful. Again, we provide all of this to you. The National Holiday Campaign, 8 campaign templates. Once you have them in your CRM, we can help you write 3 custom emails, 15 total emails. And again, we provide you the boilerplate templates for all of this. The vetting process includes the vetting form, a simple quiz. We'll help you again with all of this. I'm working with you personally, one-on-one. We typically about 3, 4, or 5 people in each workshop. We keep it very small. So therefore, it's not me and not a talking head talking to you. We're all working on this together. Okay, so there are 3, 4, there's typically about 4 or 5 other agency owners in there, along with me, and we are all rolling up our sleeves and working on this all day, every day for your system. Pillar 3, day 3, we're going to get into the sales pipeline and deals management system. We're going to set it up to where it's going to basically get the entire pipeline management system. We're going to set up the stages. We're going to get everything going in there. We're going to coach you on how to actually manage this system. It's unbelievably easy to do it. Even the longest pipelines with this drag and drop or drop down deals management system is awesome. We also have advanced lead scoring available. We don't have it built into the system because a lot of times that can get a little confusing, but we do show you what that is and we can show you how to get that taken care of. And just about all CRMs have that capability now. We literally provide the entire framework, boilerplate, email copy, automation campaign templates, mind maps, and everything. Pillar 4, real-time KPI dashboard. You got to know what works, what does not work, and what to tweak. So we have a KPI course that we give to you that's included in the workshop. You go through that and it explains exactly all KPIs. It even gives you a pre-formatted spreadsheet and workbooks to show you exactly how to get started and work through the whole process. Okay, here are the basics of the workshop and how everything works. We have kind of flexible scheduling. We're shooting for this one to be in the first week of November, but if you want to get into it, we have these workshops every couple of months. So if you want to save your seat now and you just can't make it for the first week of November, let me know that and we'll get you directly into the next class. Again, we keep these very, very small. We typically have about 5 agencies. Now, each agency sometimes can bring an additional employee. If you want to do that, then that's perfectly fine. You will have required homework assignments each day. We will record each session and provide them to you. So even if you can't make it for all 4 days of the workshop, don't worry about it. We will record it. We'll get it out to you on the same day. So that way that night you can play catch up, or if you want to, you can do it over the weekend. And again, we provide you with all of the templates, all the pre-written email copies, step-by-step worksheets on all of it. And of course, we always give a 100% money-back guarantee. So I am going to start my video here, and I'm going to open it up to see if there's any questions or anything out there. Let's see here.